It's a pleasure to be with you, albeit that I recognize that right now we are in a moment of stress and challenge and probably practicing social isolation and also having a great degree of uncertainty about the future. So it is at this particular point in our lives, and it's happening purposefully at this moment, that we can call on our inner resilience and inner personal strength. Now, each one of us has got given capacities that Hashem has endowed us with. Individual. Each one of us has a spiritual umbilical cord that connects us to the very center of creation, to Hashem, in our own individual way. Hashem has never created two people who are identical. No two anythings have been created that are identical. And yet, each one of us is purposefully placed in that moment of space and time where you and I can make the greatest contribution to the present moment. You and I are the oldest extant people in existence of the world. When I say that, I mean in a sense of a civilization, of a grouping of people who have a commonality, where you and I have been here for 3,500 years. We have been endowed with a capacity, a manual, a Torah that gives us the mechanisms to respond to the exigencies of the moment. And we have another principle, that Hashem never places in our path any obstacle that we don't have the capacity to overcome. Therefore, you and I can overcome this, and not only that, there is purpose behind it. The world is designed. There is a given method and approach to everything that we see in the micro level of the world, in the macro level of the world. Look deep inside matter and you'll come to atomic particles, subatomic particles. They're still looking for the boson. They're still looking for parts. But nevertheless, one of the interesting things that they have discovered is that the subatomic place is made up of space. Particles are far and few between. Like outer space, like the macro world, space dominates existence. And it's somewhere in that space, in the energy of that space, that Hashem creates the shape and nature of everything that is in existence. And you and I relate intimately to it. Therefore, how do we approach challenge like the challenge we face now? We are given a very, very special test. It's called Bechira Chofshit, Bechira Chofshis, free choice. We have total freedom in our attitudinal response to the exigencies of every moment. We have the capacity to be able to create, like an artist, an attitude, a response to every circumstance that impinges upon us. Therefore, yes, coronavirus, COVID-19, all these things consistently affect us, but we have the capacity to respond to them. So, our attitudinal response, as Viktor Frankl very poignantly pointed out in his very, very important book, Man's Search for Meaning, our freedom doesn't lie in the physicality. I can be imprisoned. I have no control over the fact that there's a virus currently raging through the world. But I do have absolute freedom in the way that I respond to that circumstance, positively or negatively, optimistically or pessimistically. That is my choice. And each one of us has to be leaders in the current setting. And leaders means not necessarily positional leaders, but servant leaders. Back then, I was reading books on leadership, and a book that I came across that left an indelible impression on me was a book called Servant Leadership. And the basic thesis is a true leader facilitates the growth of the other, doesn't exercise control and power, but rather utilizes strategies to ensure that the neshama in the guf, the soul in the body of those that Hashem placed around us, our immediate family, our spouses, our friendship groupings, and even beyond, nothing occurs by way of interpersonal meeting without it having been designed and intended from above. So you and I become the catalyst for the growth of the other. So how do we develop the choice of positivity in context of challenge? This is the substance of what I'm talking about here. Our capacity to train ourselves. In our Hasidic idiom, we call it avodah, from the Hebrew avodah, work. The spiritual work of constantly giving ourselves a perpetual direction which moves towards the right, not to the left, so to speak. The Frierdiker Rebbe often said that we should always look at everybody through the right eye, not the left eye. What does that mean? We have two eyes. Right is the side of chesed, kindness, sharing, contribution, love. The left side is gevura. Left means constriction, limitation. Now you need both in life. But when we look at the next person, we look at that person's potential. They may be misbehaving. You look at their potential. That means what the Frierdiker Rebbe said, look at them through the right eye, through the side of benefit. And likewise now in terms of the world. I am not in any way downplaying the tragedies that are occurring. But I am saying we need to recognize that somehow or other, underlying everything that's occurring lies design and purpose. Everything possesses design, which means there's a designer, as the physicists note all the time, and life has its purpose. So now, training for positivity, to be able to look at the circumstances of our everyday and be able to be positively disposed, look at it hopefully, optimistically. Is that being unrealistic? No. There's a 50-50 percentage probability that everything will go into a horrible dystopian future where things are destroyed and we're eking out a living in some bare manner. 50%. But there's a 50% possibility that we're going to come out of this well, all right, and even with capacities beyond yesterday. You have a choice. Nothing can be proven one way or the other. But if you choose positivity, A, your interpersonal relationships will be much improved. People like to be around optimistic people. And secondly, you'll be healthier. Even your immune system will operate better to be able to protect yourself against illness as such. We know that the correlation of positive attitude and the chemistry of the body is very, very real. And each one of us has the capacity to be able to create healthiness of body through our attitude. That requires mind. That requires thought process. So I'm now focusing in on the subtext. Attitude is a big word. Mind is a narrower word. But even narrower than mind is brain. Now, what's the relationship of mind and brain? Brain is the physiology. Brain is the container that the neshama, the spiritual energy, which we loosely call the soul, manifests through, flows through the container, flows through the machinery. Brain is machinery. And the way that the energy of the neshama flows through the machinery becomes a phenomenon which in English we call mind, or in our idiom, seichel. In other words, it's already the summary of brain with the energy of the soul flowing through it. And that's where choice arises. Somewhere within there, I could allow my thought patterns to flow to the right or to the left, positively or negatively. And therein lies the whole secret of life's meaning. Choice, choice, choice. Imagine who would we be like if we had no freedom of choice. Like a Pharaoh, where Hashem removes from him the capacity to choose, hardens his heart is the exact expression. Let's go further. You would be a robot, an automaton, an amoeba, purely chemicals, responding on cue. We are the wild card of creation because we have choice. And that's the distinction, by the way, between a human being and a robot. Another discussion, another time. So I want to take you through some meditational exercise to allow you to begin the process of practicing positivity. And the particular exercise which I'd like to share with you is one of feeling safe, feeling secure, feeling that you're protected, feeling that Hashem is present constantly with you individually. God isn't somewhere away like the Greeks suggested, playing Scrabble somewhere, although they didn't use the word Scrabble. God didn't create the world and went off on his merry way, her merry way. God is intimately involved with every aspect of each individual to the minutest degree. And Hashem provided us with a capacity to come to terms with that, with a recognition, with a sense of prescience, with a sense of consciousness that that is the case. And that's what I'd like to induce in you, so that when you wake up in the morning and go through the day, right now in the year of 2020 where we are suffering, you recognize there is a positive force protecting you and giving you the capacity to not just survive well, and carry out your job of leadership, which is to facilitate the growth of those around you. And how better can you do that without giving a sense of optimism, hope, and positivity to those around you, creating a sense of uplift, upbeat, joy, notwithstanding the horrific circumstances that we read about and are constantly being projected by the media into our very living room and the like. So, let's do an exercise. Just take a position of comfort, sitting in a chair, and I want you to put your hands on your knees or thighs, have your back fairly straight, head well balanced on your shoulders, and gently close your eyes. And just be aware of your breath. Gently breathing in and breathing out. If you can, prefer to breathe in through your nose and out through your nose. Taking slow, deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. And as you do, become aware of the temperature difference between the air entering your nasal passages compared to the temperature of the air as it leaves your nasal passages. Cooler air entering, slightly warmer air exiting. And just be aware of that temperature difference as the air flows into your nose compared to the air flowing out of your nose. Slow, deep breathing, temperature difference. And direct the in-breath down to your abdomen. And you can achieve this by expanding your abdomen as you breathe in and contracting your abdomen as you breathe out. So it seems like you're directing the in-breath down to your tummy area, below your chest, by expanding the abdomen to collect the air. Just practice that because it's a little counterintuitive. Deep breath in through the nose, down to the abdomen, expanding the abdomen to collect the air, and contracting the abdomen to expel the air. And just practice it for several breaths. The slower and deeper, the easier it is, and the greater the relaxation response. Allow your breathing to be smooth, deep, regular, graceful, and feel how relaxed you have become in the space of a few short moments. Something you can achieve whenever you choose to. And having achieved a relaxed state, let's allow the mind to begin to be filled with an image that I'm going to project for you. Around you is a shield, a transparent force shield. It's called Magen Avraham, the shield of Abraham. Abraham was the one that Hashem blessed to convey to us a protective shield around us. See this transparent shield? You can see through it clearly into the world. But the shield protects you. This shield filters out viruses, bad thoughts, danger points. The shield is around you in full 360 degrees. Be aware of its protective value and how it is constantly allowing your personal integrity and wholeness and wellness to continue unabated. Become familiar and comfortable with this transparent shield around you. You are constantly protected by Magen Avraham, the shield of Abraham. If you picture this, visualize it, it becomes real. If you believe it, it works. And the truth of the matter is, that protective shield is there, whether you know it or not. But your consciousness and awareness of it makes it operate that much more powerfully. So spend a few moments enjoying your protected state here in this world of challenge, and enjoy the safety, allowing your inner self to relax. Feel comfortable. Feel protected. Focus again on your breath. Become aware of the breath entering your nose and exiting. Cool air entering, warm air exiting. Begin moving your fingers and your toes. Move your fingers now. Move your toes. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes, coming all the way back. Now, some of you might be saying, this is just a simple projection. What gives it reality? And the truth is, each one of us is a swirling ball of energy, mainly made up of empty space. Our solidity is an illusion. And that energy interfaces with the energy outside. But we project energy. The Frierdiker Rebbe notes in the opening page of the work known as Likutei Diburim that you can project a thought to someone across the other side of the globe, and with your thought, affect them materially and spiritually. In other words, we extend ourselves and affect those not just around us, but even at a distance. We create force fields. We create energy flows. We create realities. And we do it through intention, methodology, and results. Most of us do it concretely, physically, with the things we build, we make. But we can also do it energetically, and we do. But if we can focus that energy, that flow of our neshama the flow of the spirituality that ultimately is the empty space in between matter, which we're made up of substantially, and so is everything else, then we can coalesce it purposefully as a shield. Every day in the Shemona Esrei, in the Amidah, you say, Baruch atah Hashem Magen Avraham, the shield of Abraham. What do you mean by that? And now we recognize it's something real. The word shield does mean something. Now, as I said earlier, we're an old people. We're an ancient people. We've gone through many more challenges than any other people in the world. We have therefore with us a repository of experience and knowledge that we can call upon. We have the wisdoms of the past, and we have the manual that we received at Har Sinai that gives us the capacity to draw on in any moment of time and space. This is one such time. This is a time where you and I are being challenged to call upon our personal inner resilience, to unleash our own personal power, to have the capacity to train ourselves to respond and become a leader who facilitates the ones around us. We can project that capacity of positivity and hopefulness with our own attitudinal response. And I come back, therein lies the choice. So I give you the benefit of a teaching within the Torah. It's not one of the teachings which is explicit, because there are many things that the Torah gives us levels of depth which we have to discover. There are 4 levels of the Torah: Pshat, Remez, Drush, and Sod. And Chassidus came around in order to give us a deeper understanding of the deepest level of the Torah, where this knowledge of energies and the soul's capacity to outflow from the body, and how you and I through the mind can direct it and create a reality around us. Now we know a little more about it. And this is the moment where we need to practice it. So I want to wish you a lot of hatzlacha. I want to wish you positivity. I want you to train for that positivity. Each morning, each day, do a little meditative exercise. I have many out there on YouTube. An exercise that will reinforce your inner strength. And in so doing, you thereby replenish the energy in the others around you as well, create immunity of the body, strengthen your defense mechanism, and make the world a better place to that fission moment when it is just the moment when one more person does one more mitzvah and the result is Mashiach Tzidkenu. May that occur now. Good to spend time with you. Be well.